Today, I have a fun little update for you about everything talk is sheep. Hey guys, it's Katie here. I'm the Katie behind all of the patterns at Katie DeGroff Knits, the host of the What Katie Knits podcast, and creator of all of the other videos you see here on my channel. Make sure that you are subscribed so you don't miss out on another one of my videos. And because you're here and watching, don't forget, give this video a thumbs up, like it, and drop me a comment. Do you plan on checking out the Talk is Sheep pattern? Today's a little bit different of an episode because we are talking all things Talk is Sheep, which is what I'm also wearing. Talk is Sheep is my brand new pattern that is out now on Etsy and Ravelry. Links for everything I talk about will be down below. So first, I'm just going to chat for a moment about where Talk is Sheep originated. The lovely Tasha and Brian from Frogget Yarns, Hand Dyed Yarns, and Mobile Yarn Truck contacted me to do a collaboration with them. They had me pick out some of their colors, and I sketched out a proposal, and they sent them to me. It was beautiful and wonderful, and then I completely changed my mind. The original proposal was beautiful, but I wanted to simplify it. I wanted to create something where I could utilize multiple colors or just one color. I also wanted to create something where you could use a more heavily variegated yarn. How many times do we buy these beautiful variegated skeins? And they sit there because we know, unless we knit socks with them, they're gonna turn out like barf in our project. Nobody wants that. We want something where it can shine. So I set out to create something simpler and something where you could use everything from a tonal to a variegated or to multiple colors. Just to preface this, all of my samples were knit up on a US size 6 needle, which is a 4mm needle, using DK weight yarn that is 100% superwash. This pattern, Talk is Sheep, can be knit up at any gauge, with any yarn weight, and with any needle size and fiber content. The pattern will not change, and it will look good regardless of what you decide to work it up in. I did use around 400 grams of DK weight yarn for each of my samples, give or take just a little bit, just to give you a size range. You can use more, you can use less. I had testers that used much less and just worked it up to be a small little neckerchief instead of something that is a little bit larger. This is the one that I was wearing. As you can see, it's beautiful tonals. You will be starting on one tippy top, working one pattern repeat, then going into the next and repeating those two until you either use up about 45% of your yarn or you're happy with the size. Obviously, at that point, it's only going to be half, but you can estimate it doubled. Then you work 2 pattern repeats, alternating them for the decreases. All pattern repeats are fully written and charted, and the 3-color version also comes in color-coded charts. When you purchase Talk is Sheep, you will get 2 different PDFs. One for the 1 color and one for the 3 color. I decided to just split them up into separate files. Just seems so much easier and more cohesive rather than saying, here's this, here's this. What if I only want to work up the 1 color? I don't care about the 3-color instructions, and vice versa. So there are 2 files for you. You can easily work up more repeats, less repeats, do whatever you want with it. I had people work it up in fingering. I had people work it up all the way to bulky weight yarn, and they all looked great. These stitch patterns are very easy to memorize. Everyone starts out with the same setup, and then at the very end, regardless of where you end up, you will work the same finishing rows. Beautiful little slip stitches make up pattern repeat 1. The vertical columns make up pattern repeat 2. There are 3 charts and written sections to pattern repeat 2, A, B, and C. You'll work A, B, C, and then you'll start back over at A, B, C. Work them as many times as you need to, or as few. You don't even have to work up until C. You may only work 2. You'll begin, work all of your pattern repeats, alternating the 2 different pattern instructions until you get to about 45% of your yarn used, or you're happy with the size. Then you will finish up whatever repeat you're on with the decrease side, and then you will work the same number of repeats as you did on the first half on the second half. That's it. That's all that's to it. There's a ton of notes in the pattern as far as where do I start, where do I go, how do I work the repeats. This was definitely a labor of love with my testers, just from a formatting standpoint. Anytime you're writing a pattern that can be worked up in any weight of yarn, at any gauge, to any size, writing it up to make it cohesive and clear to understand is very difficult. It would almost be so much easier if there was just one option and you did this and this and this and then that was it. Definitely a huge thank you to all of my testers. Definitely go check out my testers' lovely projects on Ravelry and social media and give them some love. Talk is Sheep is out now on Ravelry and Etsy. And if you catch this before midnight Eastern Standard Time on Sunday, July 19th, you will be able to save 50% off, no code needed. I don't like to use codes too much. Just give me the sale. I don't want to have to worry about it because I always forget it. Go snag yourself a fantastically easy pattern. I showed you the tonal version. And please, 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 please go check out Frogget Yarns for some amazing tonals. Tasha is so good at dyeing up tonal yarn. This color right here, it's not going to come through. Nowhere near how pretty it is in person. They sparkle. They radiate. They're wonderful. She also has a lot of great variegated colors too. I particularly really like her tonals. And I love her bases too. This is fantastic. Now I shared a lot of love for the tonal. What about the 3-color version? So I used 3 colors for this, and they are completely contrasting between dark and then 2 for my vertical accent section. I do also include notes of how I carried my yarns and where to carry them and wrap them, so you do not see them along the edges. But the 3-color version is worked just like the 1 color. You're repeating your 2 sections until you use up about 45% of your yarn, which for the 3-color version, I recommend gauging it by your main color because you're going to use slightly less of your accent colors than your main color. So if you calculate out 45% of this main color, you're good to go. You can add tassels to the end of it if you want to. Make it shorter. Make it longer. It's so easy to wear too. All you have to do is literally throw it on and go. So I'm going to insert some B-roll here so you can see several of the different ways to style it. Throw it on. Leave your tails long. You can tuck them underneath. You can tie them in front or underneath. That's a great style as well. It's so easy to wear, so easy to create, and can be knit up in such a myriad of colors, which it looks good in. And of any weight too. Did I mention that? Any weight, anything. Hey, I've got 2 skeins of some random, very special variegated yarn that I have. Knit it up. I knit up my first 2 samples using Frogget yarn, and this one I just had some Hue Loco in a DK Sitting Frogged from another project that I've been dying to use because I really love this colorway. And as you can see, it's much more variegated. It's not like a heavily variegated. I'd probably consider it like a light variegation to like a medium variegation. But you can see it looks just as good in any colorway. So don't forget, check out Ravelry, check out Etsy for Talk is Sheep, my brand new shawl-shaped scarf pattern. And don't forget to go check out Frogget Yarns and grab yourself some really, really pretty yarn because they have a slew of it. You can go check them out online at any time, or if you are lucky enough to see them in person and see their mobile yarn truck in person, yeah, go check William out because he's pretty cool. Tune back in next time to see what Katie knits.